कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरभक्ता वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय, गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय जय, जय प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। कृष्णोत्कीर्तन गान नर्तन परो, प्रेमामृताम्बो निधि धीरा धीर जना प्रियो प्रियकरो, निर्मत्सरौ पूजितौ श्री चैतन्य कृपाभरौ भुवि भुवो भारावहन्तारकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ नानाशास्त्र विचारणैकनिपुणौ सधर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मट्टालिकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ श्रीगौराङ्ग गुणानुवर्णन विधौ राधा समृद्ध्यन्वितौ पापोतापनिकृन्तनौ तनुभृताम् गोविन्दगानामृतैः आनन्दामुदिवर्धनैकनिपुणौ कैवल्यनिस्तारकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ त्यक्त्वा तूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति श्रेणीं सदा तुच्छवात् भूत्वा दीनगणेशकौ करुणया कौपीनकण्ठाश्रितौ गोपी भावरसामृता बिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ मुहुर् वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ पूजात् कोकिलहंससा रसगणा कीर्णे मयूरा कुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलविटपा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधाकृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवार्धदौ यौ मुधा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ संख्यापूर्वक नामगाननटिभिः कालावसानीकृतौ निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितौ चात्यन्तदीनौ च यौ राधाकृष्णगुणस्मृतेर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरेत् गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुधा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ हे राधे व्रजदेविके च ललिते हे नन्दसूनो कुटः श्रीगोवर्धन कल्पपादपतले कालिन्दी वने कुटः गोशान्ताविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे केधैर्महाविफलौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ। Sri Shad Goswami Ashtakam ki jai. Nectar of Devotion class ki jai. So we thank all of you for joining in for our Nectar of Devotion session this morning. Today we have our speaker Purnanandi Mataji who's already joined us. Thank you so much, Mataji. Welcome, Mataji. We're chanting loudly the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dhanut Pranams.
I shouldn't have switched on my camera. because
no, Mataji, then everybody would have cursed me. Arey, the class already it is 11:05. They would all you saved me from the curse. Thank you, thank you.
No, it was so nice. There was no need for any class. The whole chapter now is about Kirtan. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the morning session of Nectar of Devotion. So we're in the chapter 9 and we have to start from para singing. Okay. Quick prayer before we start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Mataji, are you going to share or you're going to make me the host?
Mataji, I made you co-host, Mataji. You can share.
No, Mataji, you make Purna Nandini in that. You make
me
the
other one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, Mataji, I made.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Devotees can take turn in reading. So kindly raise your hands, those who want to start reading. Medhavani Mataji will be given chance last. With due respects and no offense meant.
Yes, Mataji, perfect. You are always perfect. Hare Krishna. I am just expressing my desire, so it is up to the speaker. Hare Krishna.
Okay, sure. Janaki Mataji, please read the paragraph singing.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Singing. In the Linga Purana, there is a statement about glorifying and singing about the Lord. It is said there, a Brahmana who is constantly engaged in singing the glories of the Lord is surely elevated to the same planet as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna.
She or he is also reading. Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. Please read.
Lord Krishna appreciates the singing even more than the praise offered by Lord Shiva.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sorry for the disturbance.
No. It was a welcome disturbance, not disturbance. I think the kid also was reading, though I'm not sure whether it's a girl or boy. Thanks for that.
Boy, Mataji.
No, boy. What's the name?
His name is Vyas Krishna, Mataji.
Vyas Krishna. No wonder he's reading. Okay. Yeah, so I just see reading Srila Prabhupada's books, purports, is so helpful. When I saw this Linga Purana, actually, if you read the purports of Chatushloki of Srimad Bhagavatam, in that Srila Prabhupada quotes one shloka, which is the last shloka of 4 Puranas, that is the Linga Purana, Skanda Purana, Shiva Purana, and Padma Purana. The last shloka says, Aloda Sharva Shastrani Vichare Puna Puna Idam Ekam Su Nispallam Dhyayam Narayana Sada. Right? So, why I am saying this is, even though it is Linga Purana, Skanda Purana, and Shiva Purana, the last shloka, whatever comes in the last is kind of the gist of the whole this thing. That's how, the movie end or any novel end which we see. So even there, it is saying how it has glorifying Lord. The Lord is the most important thing, and which has been elaborated here by Sri Rupa Goswami. Okay, yeah, Rohini Mataji can read the Sankirtana 2 paragraphs when a person loudly chants up to here, uttering of Krishna. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Pranam Mataji. Sankirtana. When a person loudly chants the glories of the Lord's activities, qualities, form, etc., his chanting is called Sankirtana. Sankirtana also refers to the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. In the Vishnu Dharma, there is a statement glorifying this process of congregational chanting. My dear king, this word Krishna is so auspicious that anyone who chants his holy name immediately gets rid of the resultant actions of sinful activities for many, many births. This is a fact. There is the following statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita. A person who chants the holy name of Krishna once can counteract the resultant actions of more sinful activities than he is able to perform. A sinful man can perform many, many sinful activities, but he is unable to perform so many that they cannot be wiped out by one single uttering of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Okay, so just the two words, or Krishna, the name Krishna. How many things are being said here, right, about the name Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada very, what to say, very mercifully chose this movement, name as Krishna consciousness, because either way we are chanting the names of Krishna. There are one or two quotes that I want to share about the meaning of Krishna. Of course, we know many meanings. Yeah, the first meaning of Krishna we generally hear. Anybody wants to share? What is the meaning of Krishna? The word name Krishna?
All attractive. All attractive.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there is this one very nice quote that I always remember, and I'm going to share it. Please listen. Krishir bhuvachaka shabdo nacha nirvruti vachaka tayor aikyam param brahma Krishna iti abhidhiyate. Krish means, the meaning of this shloka is, Krish means repetition of birth and death, and Na means one who ends it. Okay, another meaning of Krishna, right? And then also, what is said here about the holy name and Sankirtana, these two things, and what Srila Prabhupada has told us about Sankirtana. Sankirtana, we know, is when in group chanting and in a melodious and a more tuneful way, rather than japa. Japa is more individual. Even if we do together, japa is individual. But Sankirtana, Kirtana itself is glorifying the Lord, and Sankirtana means together chanting. Now, Sankirtana, what else do you think anybody wants to try? What else do we think is the meaning of Sankirtana?
Sankirtana has come from two Sanskrit words, Sama and Kirtana. Sama means together, and Kirtana means to glorify the Lord. Sama means Samato, we can say equal, we can say equally singing together the glories of Lord, we can say. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you. Then Srila Prabhupada gave a very, what to say, broad explanation for this, or broad understanding. Like when he was talking about to another devotee during those initial days, to another devotee about Srimad Bhagavatam or something. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj comes, and then it says, Srila Prabhupada, let's go for Sankirtan. So Srila Prabhupada says, what do you think I'm doing now? So Sankirtana, Srila Prabhupada never stopped at the aspect of only singing or in the melodious way the Hare Krishna mantra. In fact, we are in the December month, book distribution. Book distribution is also Sankirtana. It can be Nama Sankirtana, it can be Leela Sankirtana. And then when we are talking about Krishna, that is also Sankirtana. In a group, when we are anything to do with Krishna, is Sankirtana is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. It not necessarily be in a singing form. Now we are discussing, some of you are reading, I'm trying to do my best by all your prayers, say a few words about these things. So this is also Sankirtana, Srila Prabhupada says. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, Divya Mataji can read the next two paragraphs in the 7th canto.
In the 7th canto, 9th chapter, verse 18th of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaja Prahlada offers the following prayers to the Lord. My dear Lord Narasimha, if I can be elevated to the position of your servant, then it will be possible for me to hear about your activities. You are the supreme friend, the supreme worshipable deity. Your pastimes are transcendental, and simply by hearing of them, one can counteract all the sinful activities. Therefore, I shall not care for all those sinful activities, because simply by hearing about your pastimes, I shall get out of all the contaminations of material attachments. There are many songs about the Lord's activities. For example, there is the Brahma Samhita sung by Lord Brahma, Narada Pancharatra, sung by Narada Muni, and Srimad Bhagavatam sung by Sukadeva Goswami. If these songs are heard by any person, he can easily get out of all the clutches of material contaminations. There should be no difficulty in hearing these songs of God. They are coming down from many, many millions of years ago, and people are still taking advantage of them. So why at this time should one not take full advantage and thus become liberated? Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So here, Prahlad Maharaj offers prayers. I mean, like, no, the few things about prayers, right? What exactly are prayers? Anybody wants to try? What exactly is prayer?
Glorification of
Communicating with
Krishna. Glorification of Krishna.
Okay, thank you. There was some Mataji who was trying to say. Yes, Mataji.
communicating, Mataji.
Very nice. Correct. Communicating. Yes. Yes, Karpagalli Mataji.
Directly talking to the Lord, Supreme
Krishna.
Lord.
Yeah, okay.
Directly talking and confessing our problems or talking as a friend to Lord Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, devotees. That was a few things that I wanted to say. You already added. Yes, it is basically a loving exchange between two people. That is what is talking about. Talking. Now, prayer is also same. Now, a question may arise that why should we do this? Does Krishna know or he doesn't know what is it that I want to say? What is it that I'm going through? Krishna knows or doesn't know?
He knows, Mataji.
Yes, he knows because he's
He
the
knows.
Paramatma
Then why
within the
should
heart.
we?
So he knows.
Then why should we pray then?
Because to communicate within the Paramatma within the heart to solve our problems.
He's already in the heart. He knows everything.
Like like how we interact conversation, you know, with the Lord, and what to say, we talk to him and also we listen to him.
Okay.
It's like
Mataji, relationship to
guidance.
establish
Very
relationship.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yes, it is that relationship. It is,
Relationship.
you know, parent or the boss or the employee, they may know everything, but then, you know, just to maintain that relationship, that conversation happens. Okay, that is one aspect of prayer. Then it really pleases the Lord, right? Most of the prayers that we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, various prayers by Brahma, Srimati Kunti Maharani, Lord Shiva. Then you have Vritrasura, the Devatas, Prahlad Maharaj, Gajendra, Dehuti. So many we will come across in Srimad Bhagavatam. All those prayers actually, if you see, is first of all glorifying the Lord. It gives the supremacy of the Lord, and with that, it also gives the aspect of the Lord being merciful. Right now, what does these? There are two types of things. Now, individually, I may not be able to give this kind of high jargon or high as pure devotees. So I may just say, Lord, so and so, and then either, you know, this is what it is. Even that is prayer because I'm trying to communicate, right? But then prayers that are memorized and which are being told by pure devotees, what happens is one, it purifies us, and at the same time, it unburdens, I mean, a lot of things out of our head. So memorizing some of these prayers, lot of people memorize Gajendra prayers, Kunti prayers, Dhruv Maharaj prayers. So it is very nice. And here, I mean, songs and prayers like Brahma Samhita. Like the lecture I was listening to, what it's talking about is, if we take even the first prayer that we do in the morning, what is the first prayer? In the
Guru,
morning, the
Guru prayer.
Samsara
Nalalida Loka, right? There, the last line of every stanza of the 8 stanzas is Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam. So it is a prayer, not there's nothing that we are asking for. Like it is we are starting our day by showing our gratitude to the Lord or his pure devotees. So it is not that we are always praying to for the Lord to take away our problems or keep telling about our problems. Imagine if I'm wanting to maintain a relationship with any of you, and all the time I'm saying, "Ayo, this is like this." I mean, how does it feel? I mean, so at times you must also say, "This was nice today. This happened," and then also prayers are a way of showing gratitude. Right, gratitude. Lord, you allowed me to chant today. You allowed me to read in the class. Various ways. Even it can be the simplest of things. So, what does all this do? First, one thing was about the prayers, right? And then the prayers when we are glorifying, like how Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying, and it says, "If I can be elevated to the position of your servant," so much unlike the material situation. In the material situation, we are all wanting to be boss, but then in the spiritual aspect, we all want to be the servant. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Krishna in his prayers, like, "You give me the love, then only I can pray," is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So these are a few things. And then, of course, we have been seeing that how all this is so purifying that all the anarthas or all the misgivings or all the attachments to this material world goes away, which we have collected from millions of years by prayers, either by listening, by chanting, or by talking about it, all these things, right? And thus Bhaktam liberated. Now, yeah, Sindhu Mataji, you had raised your hand. Do you want to read this?
Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Pranam.
Mataji, one simple doubt, but while we memorize these prayers, sometimes we forget the meaning of the prayers and we just recite the prayers and we go away. So we means that bhav is not there sometimes because we have memorized those prayers. Sometimes it
It's
happens like
either
that.
Agnana Sukruti, even somebody without, at least now we are on the platform that we can say the prayers and then we don't understand the meaning, and then we have come to that if we understand the meaning and say, then it is more purifying and more relishing and bhava and all that. But Krishna says, what is it about Agnana Sukriti? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before his descent, those other people who were, trying to imitate during the eclipse, see, they're saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So even Krishna looks at it as, oh, somebody is calling me, even though it is without any intent, even though they were making fun of it. So definitely it helps to know the meaning, but it also helps, in either way it helps, is what I'm trying to say. When a person is hungry, whatever he eats, whether it is delicious or not delicious, it satisfies the hunger. So I mean, that is a very mundane example. So chanting the Lord's names and chanting the prayers from pure devotees is definitely purifying, but it should be our attempt to try to understand the meaning. Thank you for that, Prabhu. Yes, Sindhu Mataji,
Hare
kindly.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Mataji, from which paragraph? Japa?
Yes, no, in the last paragraph.
Okay, very good. Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada ki jai. The first canto, 5th chapter, verse 22 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni tells his disciple Vyasdeva, "My dear Vyasa, you should know that persons who are engaged in executing austerities and penances, studying the Vedas, performing big sacrifices, chanting the hymns of the Vedas, speculating on transcendental knowledge and performing charitable functions, have for all their auspicious activities simply to gain a place in the association of devotees and chant the glories of the Lord." It is indicated here that chanting about and glorifying the Lord is the ultimate activity of the living entity.
Okay. So, when we initially join Krishna consciousness, initially in the sense after a few sessions, kind of we are familiar. they say chanting is very important, right? And then they say it is very easy. All you have to do is just take a beat and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Do one round. Then, when if it's a week on week class, then they say, did you do one round? Then they say go to 2 rounds, right? And then eventually, if we are continuing, we realize 2 things. I mean, at least that was what I understood. At the outset, chanting the Lord's name, just Rama, Krishna, Hare, is easy. I mean, as pronouncing the words, yes, it is easy. But then, and it is the starting of spiritual journey. And then we realize, and it is the end of the spiritual journey also. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Krishna says, at the time of death, one should remember my name, remember my activities, or because the name includes Krishna himself, it includes everything. So then we realize that chanting, what chanting we are doing is offensive. I mean, offensive chanting. Then there's something called Namabhas, then Shuddhanam and all that. But what came to my mind is the mercy of the Lord. Like in spite of being so conditioned, in spite of not wanting to, I mean, at least I remember there were so many sessions in the initial, no, I have to go here, I have to go there, half the class, in some classes we used to miss, in spite of all that, and in spite of all the offenses and all the, force that we had to encounter to attend these for our own benefit, in spite of it, I see myself here today, after a few years in Krishna consciousness. That means how merciful is just even the offensive way of chanting. So now, now if we realize, chanting includes everything, like whatever people gained in Satya Yuga by doing thousands and thousands of years meditation, and Treta Yuga by doing yajna, and Dwapara Yuga by doing paricharya. All this, all I have to do here now in this yuga is just sit and chant the names of the holy names of the Lord, and all that benefit is got. And then it also benefits so much that when little of anartha nivritti happens, and then I'm taking my own example with all that thing that I have gone through in my life. I can't imagine sitting here and trying to explain about the holy name of the Lord, right? So that is how purifying the names of the Lord is, right? So in Vishnu Sahasranama, there's a word which comes Suchishravaha. The name itself is so purifying. I mean, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of sun rays. The sun rays falls on various things, clean things and unclean things, and then it cleanses the dirty things, but doesn't contaminate the sun rays. So the same way, chanting the holy names of the, either way, with lot of bhava or not bhava, or with love or forced, or just for the sake of others, or we may have so many material aspirations, but still the Lord accepts, and then brings us to the point that I should not get into all these things, but I should chant the holy name of the Lord ahaituke and apratihata, without any aspirations or without any this. So this is about chanting and glorifying the Lord, and how it is so beneficial for us. Yes. Okay, I'll ask Medhavini Mataji to read about japa, both the paragraphs. Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chanting a mantra or hymn softly and slowly is called japa, and chanting the same mantra loudly is called kirtana. For example, uttering the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, very softly, only for one's own hearing, is called japa. Chanting the same mantra loudly for being heard by all others is called kirtana. The Mahamantra can be used for japa and kirtana also. When japa is practiced, it is for the personal benefit of the chanter, but when kirtana is performed, it is for the benefit of all others who may hear. In the Padma Purana, there is a statement for any person who's chanting the holy name, either softly or loudly, the paths to liberation and even heavenly happiness are at once open. Thank you so much, Mataji Dhanatma.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, but actually, there are, I mean, when we read this and it's saying japa for personal benefit of the chanter. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Haridas Thakur, how should japa be done? Haridas Thakur says we have to chant loudly, because at least there are some creatures which are there which will hear, and then it is not because, I mean, I'm talking of myself, not because I am chanting they are benefited. It is because the holy name is so purifying. Just the name, by the creatures that are around. So Haridas Thakur says, Hare Krishna. Who's
Krishnamurti Prabhu, please be on mute. Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. So Haridas Thakur says, yes, tells one should chant loudly. So in one sense, japa is not just for one's own benefit. Okay, let's say we are in a totally completely immunized kind of a room, but then there are so many creatures within us, right? So they hear. So it never for one's own self is what I was thinking about. And then of course the Lord is there, and the Lord is always there with us, so we are never alone. That is one thing. And Padma Purana says benefit Sankirtana or Kirtana is for the whole. So for this, the best thing that comes to all our mind is Srila Prabhupada's Rath Yatra. I mean, flooding the world with Rath Yatra, irrespective of whether people wanted to hear or not hear, right? Srila Prabhupada introduced Rath Yatra. One is, of course, giving the darshan of the deities. The other most important thing Srila Prabhupada did was for chanting the holy names loudly so that everybody hears, and then distributing of prasadam, right? So like, ek maar do tukda, not do, I mean, like everything is combined in that aspect of Rath Yatra. And then now that we are in this, if we all of us have assembled, I take this opportunity to say that if we have assembled to listen and read Nectar of Devotion, we have to keep a measure on our japa, the quality of our japa. Now, if we have reached the quantity, first is reaching 16 rounds. Yes, now if we have reached that, now somehow every day, and how can we do to increase the quality of our japa? That means bring it to attentive japa, just hearing the names, right? I think all of us have experienced how at the time of chanting is the one maximum, thoughts and planning, everything happens. Most of the time, everywhere we hear, this is what happens when we are trying to chant attentively. That is when, the mind is forces and so many things on us. So, and then the only measure is ourselves, right? So when we can take small baby steps, if I in first round, if I can chant few number of times attentively, and then keep a note of it after chanting, and then the next day, I mean, it can be more number of times. I mean, I'm speaking from my perspective, like, and then in the second or third round, if we can increase it, it varies day to day. But if there is a concentrated effort, if there is Shraddha that I want to improve my quality of japa, is one thing. It starts with Shraddha. And next what? Then beg Guru and Gauranga that please help me to increase the quality of my japa. Then our aim to move towards that will be much better. And because ultimately everything happened by the Lord's sanction. So we have to pray for. That's another nice prayer that we can ask the Lord, that we should chant, or when we are reading, when we are listening, when we are talking about Krishna, that it is with most maximum attention, right? Okay, so who wants to read next, please? Submission.
May I read?
Okay. Yeah, Prabhu, you can read
Okay,
one paragraph. Karpagwali
sub-
Mataji, you can
Okay,
read next.
submission. In the Skanda Puran, there is a statement about submission unto the lotus feet of the Lord. It is said there that those who are sober devotees can offer their submission to Krishna in the following 3 ways. Sampratmika, very feelingly offering prayers. Dainya Bodhika, humbly submitting oneself. And Lalasa Mai, desiring some perfectional stage. This desiring some perfectional stage in spiritual life is not sense gratification. When one realizes something of his constitutional relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he understands his original position and wants to be reinstated in his position, either as a friend, servant, parent, or conjugal lover of Krishna. This is called Lalasa Mai, or very eagerly desiring to go to one's natural position. This Lalasamai stage of submission comes in the stage of perfect liberation, which is technically called Swarupa Siddhi, when the living entity understands by perfect spiritual advancement and revelation his original relationship with the Lord.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. There are examples which are given, so we will read that and then maybe I will share a few things. Karpagwali Mataji can read the next paragraph in the
Thank you,
Padma
Mataji.
Purana. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mother Dandatna. In the Padma Purana, there is a statement of submission in feeling by devotees.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I think Mataji's internet is an issue.
Praying to the Lord. I know that young boys and young girls. I am praying at your lotus feet, that my mind may become attracted unto you in the same spontaneous way. The example is very appropriate. When a young boy or girl see a member of the opposite sex, there is a natural attraction without the need for any introduction. Without any training, there is a natural attraction due to the sex impulse. This is a material example, but the devotee is praying that he may develop a spontaneous attachment to the Supreme Lord, free from any desire for profit or without any other cause. This natural attraction for the Lord is a perfectional stage of self-realization.
Okay.
Shall I continue, Mataji?
No, Mataji, Ramakrishna Prabhu is there, so I will ask him. So this is an example. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. This is an example for samprarthanatmika way of submission, right? So I mean, the example is so appropriate, like it is so natural in that teenage years or in that young youth age. Or being attracted to the opposite sex is so opposite gender, okay, is so natural. So the prayer is the prayer is like, I as a devotee, I want to be attracted to the Lord in the same spontaneous way, right? And then what here Rupa Goswami Pad is saying, that it is the perfectional stage of self-realization, signs of self-realization. Srila Prabhupada's, there are so many devotees who have read that. I mean, initially before becoming devotees, people have read that book, Signs of Self-Realization, and then come to Krishna consciousness and have taken up the process very seriously. So this can be one aspect. Now the next is Dainya Vodhika, humbly submitting oneself. Okay, so we'll see the example for that. Ramakrishna Prabhu can read the next paragraph in the same Padma
Hare
Purana.
Krishna Mataji. Yeah. In the same Padma Purana, there is a statement about submission in humbleness. It is stated there, my dear Lord, there is no sinful living entity who is more of a sinner than myself, nor is there a greater offender than myself. I am so greatly sinful and offensive that when I come to confess my sinful activities before you, I am ashamed. This is a natural position for a devotee. As far as the conditioned soul is concerned, there is no wonder that he has some sinful activities in his past life, and this should be admitted and confessed before the Lord. As soon as this is done, the Lord excuses the sincere devotee. But that does not mean that one should take advantage of the Lord's costless mercy and expect to be excused over and over again while he commits the same sinful activities. Such a mentality is only for shameless persons. Here it is clearly said, when I come to confess my sinful activities, I become ashamed. So, if a person is not ashamed of his sinful activities and continues to commit the same sinful activities with the knowledge that the Lord will excuse him, that is most nonsensical proposition. Such an idea is not accepted in any part of the Vedic literature. It is a fact that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes washed clean of all sinful activities from his past life. But that does not mean that after being washed off, one should again begin sinful activities and expect to be washed again. These are nonsensical
Nonsensical.
nonsensical propositions and are not admitted in devotional service. Someone may think for a whole week I may commit sinful activities, and for one day I will go to the temple or church and admit my sinful activities so that I can become washed off uh, and again begin my sinning. This is most
Nonsensical.
nonsensical and offensive and is not acceptable to the
Author.
author of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, the next way of prayers is like humbly submitting oneself. Like we see, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says there is no, I'm a great, though it is his humility, right? His Grace Chaitanya Charandas, very nicely says, what is the difference between humility and inferiority complex? See, when we are saying I'm so sinful and then I'm so fallen and other things, right? It doesn't mean that we have an inferiority complex. He gives a very nice definition for that. He says inferiority complex is false ego frustrated. Like frustrated in the sense, we try to do so many things, and then and when things don't go our way, when people don't listen to what we are saying, then we are frustrated. So he calls this as inferiority complex. But humility is false ego rejected in the sense, I understand my position that I am the soul, and then jivera swarupohoy nityera krishnadas, that I am the servant of the Lord. It is not that I'm feeling depressed about it, or I'm feeling bad about it, unlike the inferiority complex aspect of it. Here I'm accepting my true identity, I'm accepting my constitutional position. So that is one aspect, right? And then of course, in many places, and in this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami Pad is saying how it is so nonsensical to think that I can keep on sinning and then I can go and chant, right? And then I can do away with all my reactions to sin. just by reading that, we feel, at least I felt like smirking or laughing, I mean, in a sarcastic way. Then Krishna being, buddhim buddhimatam asmi, he is giving buddhi to everybody. Do we think that Krishna will not know our intent or intention, right? So we have to be careful about this aspect. But then definitely, if there are things by chance, that is what he says, api chet suduracharo bhajate manam sadhureva samantavya. In 9th chapter, last 9:30, Krishna says one must still consider him as a sadhu or devotee as a sadhu, because if there is a accidental fall down, then because he is in the process of Krishna consciousness, he must still be considered a sadhu, because eventually he will get purified. So all this, there can be thoughts, doubts in our minds, or which come, I have done all this previously, I may be so sinful. It is very good. Here, Rupa Goswami Pada is saying that it is very good to be ashamed, because that is, then which will help us to further progress in spiritual life, because we are accepting what we had done, and praying to Krishna that we don't want to do this, and then I was like that, and you still accepted me, and please help me not to repeat these things again. Actually, this is very nicely highlighted when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi, Shamika's son, Maharishi's son. He says he was very happy to receive this curse. Otherwise, he said, I would continue to commit these sins again and again. See, that is the mood of pure devotees. Whereas, on the mundane aspect, if somebody is saying, you did this and I'm going to curse you, and then they will think otherwise, right? So, in the first chapter, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the purport given by Srila Prabhupada is very nice about this aspect. How, in what mood does Parikshit Maharaj takes the curse given by Shringi, and even though he had the capacity to counter curse, highlighting how glorified as a devotee, that he just accepts it, though he was such a great king, that he, kept even Kali aside until he was there. Kali also could not enforce anything, and then that shows his humility, and not that he was depressed, or he got angry, or he reacted or anything. So this is what devotional service does to a person, and takes him to such an elevated stage of a pure devotee, that everything is accepted as the mercy of the Lord, and understanding the aspect that and that mercy of the causeless mercy of the Lord is not taken to be what to say, is not taken cheaply and then said, anyway, I can take the mercy of the Lord and I can do anything. And the Lord gives a lot of chance. If we have experienced it, if we are going through some difficulties, if we are repeating some things, maybe not very grossly sinful thing, maybe in eating a little non-prasadam somewhere we went. It's not that the Lord will, be this thing. But then every time we eat, that intelligence he gives, says, it is better to eat prasadam, because eating non-prasadam is not good for oneself, for self-realization, these kind of things. So I just gave one example. So if we are into any of these kind of habits which is not in favor of Krishna consciousness, then we take the shelter of the Guru Parampara, Guru and Gauranga and the Parampara, to help us to get over these things, rather than think, anyway I'm chanting, anyway I'm doing devotional service, that, and then all this will be forgiven. So that should not be our mood, right? So I think we have time for one last paragraph. Somebody raised their hands. These two paragraphs we can finish and then close for tomorrow's start of reciting the notable prayers. Who? Arun Gupta Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. In the same Narad Pancharatra, there is another expression of submission, wherein the devotee says, "My dear Lord, O lotus-eyed one, when will that day come when on the bank of the Yamuna I shall become just like a madman and continue to chant your holy name while incessant tear flows from my eyes?" This is another perfectional stage. Lord Chaitanya also desired that a moment will appear unto me as 12 years of time, and the whole world will appear to me as vacant on account of not seeing you, my dear Lord. One should feelingly pray and become eager to render his particular type of service to the Lord. This is the teaching of all great devotees, especially Lord Chaitanya. In other words, one should learn how to cry for the Lord. One should learn this small technique, and he should be very eager and actually cry to become engaged in some particular type of service. This is called lolya, and such tears are the price for the highest perfection. If one develops this lolya or excessive eagerness for meeting and serving the Lord in a particular way, that is the price to enter into the kingdom of God. Otherwise, there is no material calculation for the value of the ticket by which one can enter the kingdom of God. The only price for such entrance is the lolya lalasa mai, or desire and great eagerness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this is that the third lalasa mai type of prayer, right? And it is the topmost kind of prayers or bhava that we see in the gopis, which is very exalted and very high. Here, the second paragraph we say one should learn to how to cry for the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, said this: one should cry for the Lord. Then somebody said, "Oh, Prabhupada, I don't know when I want to cry, but I can't cry." So Prabhupada said, "You cry to cry for the Lord." And then he goes on and on, you cry to cry to cry for the Lord. You cry to cry to cry, because we have been so conditioned, like, and then we don't know. We are so used to crying for ourselves, right? If something we don't get that we thought we should get, and so immediately, it can be physically the tears come, or in the heart we may be feeling so bad. But when the same thing, do we have that kind of intense feeling that we did not do something for the Lord or for his devotees? Is it there? As of now, at least, I don't have it. I mean, like, I'm still stuck in something I didn't get. This happened to me, that happened to me. So that is what the whole aspect of spirituality is, that paradigm shift has to happen from me, myself, and other things to Krishna, right? So that is this lalasa, my type of prayers. When will and then Narada Pancha, when will that day come when on the bank of Yamuna I shall become like a madman, continue to chant your holy name with incessant tears flow from my eyes? So in several places of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, invariably he is fainting. And then, the moment he sees any river, he thinks it is Yamuna and he faints. And then he sees a tree, a little dark colored tree, then he thinks he's reminded of Krishna, and then he goes and hugs, and then he just listens to the Lord's names, and then he goes into ecstasy, and he shows all those 8 Ashta Sattvika Vikara and all that. So in fact, it says, I think it is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, though I'm not very sure. If we are chanting and there are no tears in our eyes, or I think it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that means it shows how hard, how our heart is so hard, like a stone. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? It is like a stone, because after chanting the Lord's names, then we are not in that bhava. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, when devotees ask him, he says, how can I call myself devotee? This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, because I'm still alive, being away from Krishna, I'm still alive. What is the use of my life, being alive, that being away from Krishna? So these are, what happens when we listen to these things. We may not be able to relate, to it immediately. But the process when reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are here? You think? Then Srila Prabhupada asks one devotee, how many devotees are there? He said, everybody is a pure devotee in the process. So if we are under the shelter of the Guru Parampara and begging for this, then one day, hopefully, all of us together or at our own paces reach to that stage that when we chant, there are at least some tears in our eyes. I mean, that is the goal that we are setting for ourselves, and why it is and how devotees are showing is what we are seeing in Nectar of Devotion. And what is it showing? That by offending Vaishnavas or by not doing our sadhana properly, or because of all these anarthas, we are not able to reach there, or we are not yet there. It need not be very discouraging. It is only giving us a guidance to eliminate all these unwanted things for us to reach to that aspect. So those were a few things that I wanted to share on these few paragraphs of Nectar of Devotion. It has purely been an exercise for my purification, and I thank Vidavani Mataji and Ashish Prabhu for this wonderful opportunity given to me, though I am not very qualified. And just before I conclude, I was reading the third canto of chapter 16 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Jaya Vijaya occurs. I just want to read one translation, right? And just even though the Kumaras are impersonalist, right? The process of devotional service is so purifying. And this is what the Lord said. When I read this, I mean, it was like stunning. It was really like stunning. Okay. This is Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text 6, translation. Anyone in the entire world, the Lord is telling the Kumaras, when they had cursed Jaya Vijaya, because they did not allow them inside to see the Lord. So the Lord is saying this. Anyone in the entire world, even down to a Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now, you have realized me without doubt, you and the four Kumaras. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. See, Jaya is you. I mean, like, I was so stunned. Here, Jaya Vijaya are Krishna's, the Lord's personal servants, and then they are gatekeepers, and then they curse the Kumaras. I mean, they stop the Kumaras, and Kumaras, just because they were stopped from seeing the Lord in that aspect, they curse them, saying, "You are acting like, very materialistic way. So this is not your place. So go to the material world, right?" And they are impersonalists, and then they smell the tulsi, and then they realize, even for somebody, I mean, even though they are being impersonalist, and they cursed the Lord's personal servants, the Lord is telling them, even if such a thing happens, he says, even if my arm, the Lord is saying, his own arm, he will cut off if it is coming again, anything against his own devotees. So, I mean, like, it was really, the mercy of the Lord is incomprehensible in this, is what came to mind. So, doing devotional service, this is how, first of all, purifying it is, and how much the Lord will give himself to us, so much to us that it is so difficult for us to comprehend. Imagine on the mundane aspect, if we had to say this to somebody who is doing something for our own servants or our own kith and kin or something like that, we would never do that, right? But that is how the Lord is, and that is why it is said, devotional service is the highest compared to anything else. So thank you very much. Purandar Dasa says just one line of that song. Narajanma Vandaga Nalige Iruvaga Krishna Enabarade. He says Narajanma Bandaga. When you have a human life. Nalige means tongue. Iddaga, when you have a tongue. What you should say? Krishna Enabarade. Krishnana nenedare kashta vandishtilla Krishna enavarade. When you say Krishna, kashta vandishtilla. Kashta, everybody understands. Difficulties. There are absolutely no difficulties. Right? So, with that note, I would like to close. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very wonderful session, Mataji. As always, with quotes from Purandara Dasar, you always find some very, very, we hardly get to hear all of these small nuggets kind of thing, which really enrich our, our emotions, towards how glorious the Lord is, right? Especially the third canto, chapter 6 mentioned. Yeah, very, very beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Lot of hard work, lot of references here, there, everywhere for our benefit. Very, very grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you. If devotees have any queries, you may raise your hands.
I have a query. May I ask you a question?
Yes. Go ahead.
See, I just wanted to ask a question. Because of Adnat Sukriti, now we have got this human form of life, and we are practicing devotion since many lifetimes. We are practicing devotion, and this. But how can we know that we are perfect in devotion? Because we have come with association of devotees. We came to know ISKCON. We came to know Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee. We are reading books. We are chanting the holy names. But we don't know what is our next destination. Will Bhagwan Krishna accept it? Because it is said in the Shastras that if you just forward one step, Krishna forwards 10 steps towards you. So those 10 steps, Krishna is really going to forward to us, because we are so fallen. We don't know what is our situation in this material world. Are we really going to Golok Dham? So that's my question.
Anyway, I'm not very qualified to answer this, but I'm just going to repeat few things what I have heard. I'm going to repeat what we read. If we are thinking our sins are so much that the Lord is not able to purify, that means we are thinking the sin is higher than the Lord, which is wrong in the first place. That is what in one of the paragraphs that we read today. It is. It should be our mood that we should say, "I'm so sinful. I want to do devotional service, but I'm not able to." But it is wrong to think that the Lord cannot purify any sin. And it is also there is that the paragraph said there is no amount of sin that one person can do, which is by chanting. The name Krishna. Nobody can do that much of sins also, where the name of Krishna. In fact, it says even if you just think that I'm going to chant, even before chanting, if you just think I'm going to chant, so many of our sins are going away, right? That is one aspect. Okay, that means we are doubting the scriptures, we are doubting the acharyas, we are doubting the sadhus. What is it that we have to do, right? We have to just follow instructions, okay, and not get into the aspect of getting a measure where I'm going, am I going to go loka, I'm going to go this here, all that. We are not there for measuring, or that is not what we are doing our devotional service for. I will just relate one. There is in our congregation, there is this girl. Now she's a teenager. I mean, she's finished her degree. She was 2-year-old. Their parents used to bring her at morning 5 o'clock for Mangalarti. She used to sleep, and then by Bhagavad time she used to wake up. Once our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, had come to Bangalore, and then she was just, I think, 2 or maximum 3 years. Now this girl, her name is Madhumita. She asked Guru Maharaj. She said, "Guru Maharaj, will you take me to Krishna?" Okay, I'm talking of a 3-year-old girl, right? And most of the times, all the Bhagavatam class, Mangalarti, every time she's sleeping. I mean, you see the power of this thing. And then Guru Maharaj, for a moment, just waited, and then her question was glorifying. His answer was even more glorifying. He said, "I'm going to take you to Srila Prabhupada." Right? Guru Maharaj never said I'm going to take, I mean, of course, he can take anybody to anywhere. But you see, we have, and Prabhupada has always said, you always hold my thumb, or you hold my finger, you hold my hand, right? That is what Srila Prabhupada and the Acharya says. That we have the, what to say, capacity or this thing to hold on to the Acharyas. How can we hold on to the Acharyas? Just follow instructions and don't have any doubts. Okay? Doubts.
Yes.
Anumanam Pedda Rogam, it says in Telugu. Pedda Rogam means it's a big disease, it says. I mean, a Telugu quote, it just came to my mind. So don't worry, Prabhu. Do what you have to do. And karmanye vadikaraste. You do what you have to do as been told, and then the rest is left to us. That is what came to my mind. If Mataji wants to add anything, please.
No, means I'm not able to do attentive chanting, so that is aparad, means I'm doing something. So the attentive chanting is also seen by Krishna, that he is not doing attentive chanting. The attentive chanting plays a lot important role in going back to Godhead, because the mind is very strong. That is the part, like in controlling, like.
So the very fact that you have come to the level that you are realizing that you are doing offensive chanting itself is a big step. When we started, we thought, oh, I'm chanting, finish, tomorrow I'm going to Goloka. We started with that. Then when we came, the very step you have come to, that I'm doing offensive chanting, and then I have to come to attentive chanting, is a big step. So go to the next step. And then you talked about the mind, and Krishna says among the senses and the mind. If you are trying to control the mind, then, I mean, if one is trying to control the mind, it is not going to happen, because it is like trying to control Krishna, right? We have to beg Krishna to help us to focus our mind onto what we have to focus, and stop focusing it on what we should not. That is the nature of the mind. The mind will stay where it should not stay, and it will not stay where it should stay. That is the nature of mind, right? It is like water. How does water flow from top to bottom? If you have to lift water, right, it needs energy, it needs a pump. So the same way, we need this Mahamantra, we need devotee association, we need scriptures, we need acharyas, all this we need to lift our mind, right? And it's a process. It's a process for each of us. Anartha Nivritti is a process. For some, it may be one day, some may be 10 years, some lifetimes. Okay, but the process has started, and definitely it is going to come to a great conclusion, is all I can say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Are there any more questions? Any more queries? Very wonderfully, Mataji answered the question. Very wonderful question. Perfect question, perfect answers. Thank you.
Don't embarrass me, Mataji. Perfect question, perfect answers only by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
But we are repeating only Prabhupada's words, no, Mataji?
Okay, one last question. Okay, in this birth, now we have come as a human form, and from our past births, we are doing this four stages, like sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti. I got initiated now in this birth, but now anartha nivritti is going till my death. So I will get a human form once again, and then I will do the upper stages like nishtha, ruchi. So I'm just thinking that because this birth is not perfect, even though I'm human, to go back to God. Sometimes it happens like we in this birth we cannot go to Krishna, because I think like that.
That is what you are feeling. You ask your guru, no, he will tell you. You don't decide for yourself. That is the meaning of initiation. Initiation means everything is surrendered to guru. The guru will guide you. No need to take calls. Whatever it is, no need to take a call that I'm going to come. You have already sown a seed for coming back to next life. Why? By saying I'm going to come back in another life to get Nishtha Ruchi. You have decided. You are not giving Krishna a chance to decide for you. But Draupadi was lifting one hand, and the other hand she was holding sari, and she was calling Krishna, Krishna. And then Krishna came only when she lifted both her hands. That means we stop using our 250-gram gray matter of intelligence and leave it to Krishna. That is what is the Acharya telling. Okay, and don't say such things. Next life I'm going to come, Nishtha Ruchi. You're showing, you are already saying that. That means there is something else to it, that you want to come back for something else. Why? Okay. Just do what we have to do. Follow the
Okay, means like what I said is perfection of human, but should be in this life only. Means I accept the Guru and go back to better Godhead. That should happen.
So I'm saying you don't decide for yourself. You have already given your life to your Guru. Take your Guru's instructions. If Guru is not accessible, take your Guru's senior disciples' instructions. They will guide you. You don't say anything for yourself or for anybody else.
Thank you, Mataji, for like solving all my doubts. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha patitana bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jagadguru
Prabhupada ki jai,
Madhavi Mataji ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai,
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Meet you all tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful class, Mataji.
And please forgive me if I ask questions. Please forgive me.
No. Questions are there to ask. Not an issue. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Virendra
Mataji.
Prabhu, did you find that Radhisham Prabhu's link that I shared with you on Brahma Muhurta useful, Prabhu?
Yes, very nice. He has given in detail, in depth, why we should wake early in the morning and what is the use of waking early in the morning. I saw it yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, because you are saying now, because I want like 7 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep like that. So he gives a very clear formula. If you want sleep early, he says, you sleep at 8:30, you sleep at 9 o'clock. Because those 3 hours, 9 to 12 is equal to double the amount of sleep rather than sleeping in the morning. Very nice class. Thank you, Prabhu. I'm happy you found it useful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Can we end the session, Mataji?
Mataji, grateful to you, Mataji.